Hey buddy, have you seen what's happening in the NFL lately? The defensive tackle market has gone absolutely crazy. I mean, seriously, we're talking about guys pulling in $20 million per year like it's nothing. It's wild out there, and right in the middle of all that chaos, boom, the Cowboys drop a contract extension for Osa Odighizuwa. Now here's the million-dollar question. Was this move a stroke of genius by our front office? Or did we just overpay for a guy who's solid but not spectacular? Let's break it down. Osa's new deal is nowhere near the numbers that some other DTs are commanding, but still, it's enough to raise a few eyebrows. You look around the league, and you've got guys like DJ Jones and BJ Hill landing big checks. Sure, they bring the heat, but are they really that far ahead of Osa? I mean, if you look at the tape, Osa's been consistent. He's disruptive, he's got quick hands, and he's holding his own against double teams more often than people give him credit for, but is he the kind of guy that tilts the field? That's where the debate starts. Let's be real, this could end up being one of those sneaky smart deals that ages well. If the market keeps inflating like this, Osa's contract might look like a bargain in just a year or two. But it all depends on how he plays moving forward. No more flashes here and there. We need dominance. Now I want to throw this over to you. Would you have paid what the Cowboys just paid for Osa, or would you have waited another year and taken the risk? Drop your take in the comments right now. Let's put it to a vote. Asterisk Osa was a steal or Osa was overpaid. Vote below and tell me why you think so. And stick around, because in a second we're diving into the next big move this team has to make, and it might be even more important than this one. Alright, let's keep it real. If there's one thing we've been screaming for every offseason, it's this: go get reinforcements in the trenches. Whether it's the defensive line or the offensive line, the Cowboys have to stop playing it safe and finally make a bold move. And that brings us to the next big question. Who should Dallas target? Javon Hargrave or Will Hernandez? Let's start with Hargrave. The guy's a wrecking ball. Pure power, veteran presence, and he brings that nasty attitude up front that we've been missing for a while. Plug him in next to Osa, and you suddenly have a defensive interior that can collapse pockets and actually help Micah Parsons breathe a little. That sounds like a dream, right? But hold up, what about Will Hernandez? He's no small-time name either. A physical guard, nasty in the run game, and exactly the kind of presence you want protecting Dak, or whoever ends up under center in the near future. With the struggles we've seen on the interior of our offensive line, this could be a move that pays off instantly. Of course, the challenge is this: you can't have both, not with cap space being tight, so you've gotta choose wisely. Do you strengthen your defensive identity with a guy like Hargrave? Or do you protect your quarterback and help the run game by bringing in a mauler like Hernandez? And hey, don't sleep on some other names in the mix. James Daniels is another interesting option, a guy with position flexibility who could slide in at either guard or center if needed. That versatility, super valuable, but now it's your turn. If you had to pick just one name to bring to Dallas right now, who would it be? Drop your vote in the comments. Hargrave or Hernandez? And tell me what side of the ball you'd prioritize first, offense or defense. Coming up next, we're tackling the big elephant in the room, Dak Prescott. Stick with me, because things are about to get a whole lot more complicated. Alright, let's talk about what's really dividing Cowboys Nation right now, Dak Prescott. Man, whether you love him or you're ready to move on, you can't deny one thing. This offseason is a turning point. The front office is staring at a brutal decision. Do you restructure Dak's contract again, extend him, or finally start preparing for a new era at quarterback? Because let's be real, restructuring might help the cap in the short term, but it's like kicking a can down the road. You save money now, but those cap hits in the future, they'll come back to haunt us hard. And let's not forget, Dak's deal already makes him one of the highest paid QBs in the league, So if we extend him now just to lower this year's hit, we're locking into another multi-year commitment. Do you really want to tie this team to Dak even longer, or is it time to explore a bold plan B? Now, hear me out. There's a growing argument inside Cowboys circles. Tanking in 2025 could actually be a strategic move. Yeah, I know, nobody likes the word tank, but if you don't believe Dak can take you to the next level, why keep patching things up? Why not rip the band-aid off and build toward a future with a younger, cheaper, more dynamic quarterback? But then again, it's not that simple. Dak just had one of his best statistical seasons. And unless you already have a clear upgrade lined up, cutting ties now could blow up the whole structure of this team. So let me ask you directly, friend to friend, do you still believe in Dak as the quarterback of the future? Or do you think it's time to plan for what comes next? Type YES if you're riding with Dak, or nitrogen monoxide if you think it's time to move on. I'm watching. The comments up next. We're diving into a name that's got everybody talking, Shedeur Sanders. Could he be that plan B? Let's break it down next. Alright, now that we've opened the door to a possible future without Dak Prescott, let's talk about the hottest name buzzing around Cowboys Nation, Shedeur Sanders. Look, I know what you're thinking, the hype is real, the name carries weight. He's Deion Sanders' son, and yeah, that gets headlines. But let's strip all the media noise away and look at the player. Can Shedeur actually lead an NFL franchise? Technically speaking, Shedeur is sharp, great pocket presence, smooth mechanics, and he reads defenses better than most young QBs. But here's the thing, some scouts are already comparing him to a Teddy Bridgewater type. And don't get me wrong, Teddy was solid, but never elite. So is that really what you want in your next franchise QB? And it's not just about Shedeur. The Cowboys have been connected to other intriguing names too, like Shiloh Sanders' brother, a solid DB, Jack Sawyer, an edge rusher with major upside, and Maxwell Hairston, a cornerback who's starting to turn heads. But let's circle back to the quarterback dilemma. If you're really thinking about moving on from Dak, you've got to get the pick right. Do you swing for the fences in round 1 with someone like Shedeur? Or do you gamble later in the draft and hope to strike gold? Names like Jackson Dart, Dylan Gabriel, Will Howard, and even Quinn Ewers are floating around. Each has flashes of brilliance, but none of them scream franchise quarterback just yet. That's the dilemma, right? You either go big now, or wait and hope next year's draft class brings a generational talent. But can this team really afford to wait? So let me throw the ball to you now. Would you take Shedeur Sanders in the first round if you were in the Cowboys war room? Or would you hold off and wait for a better QB class down the road? Drop your answer in the comments. Let's see who's riding with the Sanders hype and who's staying cautious. Coming up next, I'll walk you through the ideal offseason blueprint for the Cowboys, from draft strategy to smart free agent moves. Don't miss this part. Alright, my friend, now that we've talked money, big names, and future QBs, it's time to put all the pieces together. Let's talk about what a perfect offseason would actually look like for the Cowboys. Let's start with the draft. If we're being real here, the offensive line has to be the top priority in round 1. No more dancing around the issue. You want to keep whoever your QB is upright, Dak or a rookie, then you need a reliable guard or tackle right now. Someone like Talise Fuaga, Amarius Mims, or Troy Fautanu could be exactly what we need. Then in round 2, go get a running back with juice. The run game has been missing that spark since Tony Pollard's breakout faded. Whether it's Trey Benson, Braylon Allen, or Blake Corum, the Cowboys need someone who can hit the hole and take it to the house. And by round 3, that's where you double down on defense. Get yourself a disruptive DT who can actually complement Osa and collapse the pocket consistently. But hey, let's not forget the free agency side of things. You can't build a complete roster with draft picks alone. That's why guys like Javon Hargrave or Will Hernandez, who we talked about earlier, should absolutely be on the table. We need more than just stopgaps. We need plug-and-play impact. Starters, here's the problem though. The Cowboys front office has this annoying habit of spending big only on their own players and going cheap everywhere else. That mindset has to change. If you want to compete with the Eagles, Niners, and Lions in the NFC, you can't keep bargain hunting while everyone else is going all in. So here's the final play. What's your perfect Cowboys offseason? Who would you draft in the first 3 rounds? Would you spend big in free agency or stick to the draft? Board, build your ideal plan in the comments. I'll be reading every one of them. And hey, if you've made it this far, you're the kind of fan this team needs. Don't forget to subscribe, smash that like, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next big update.